Yeah, so what you call it, Legion of Honor, like, oh yeah, it's history of like Legion of History. It's talking about such and such harassment all throughout. Like, say, oh well, you can have a charcoal one, but you know it has to be, you can't have a propane, and the law is under a gallon, and it has to be disconnected if you have one over a gallon. That's basically the law in California. So anybody can give you a notice. There's also other other notions that, like, oh, if you can't grill anyway, and it's according to the complex console, you know, stuff like that. So I mean, if the fire marshal, if you hear it from the horse's mouth, if the rental officer's talking about the fire marshal, they can't do better than average and say, well, such and such fire marshal is exempt from this person. And so, but you know, people go to claim that anyway. You know, they go ahead and gerrymander that anyway and say, oh well, you know what, I can get away with this for whatever emotional problem they have and stuff like that because I'm better or something like that, or whatever superiority factor they try to factor in or whatever, or claim, right? Which is the legion of the history that they're talking about. Like, they're trying to they waste you on the way there to the office. They show you all these looks and stuff with these grand hoaxes and stuff, and they think you're not going to look, and then they give you these weird names and stuff, and they say, such and such, and always pull some other card and say, oh, but this too, and this too, and this too, and this too. So it's never ending, you know what I mean? So it's kind of despicable. And even when you say this person upstairs, you're splitting them on the blog when you say certain things because you know they're bipolar as well. And they just try to juice you out of it, and it's validated by the United States, or CNN, Fox, whoever it is, whoever it may be, and whatever cards, you know, the media holds back and stuff, and the law holds back, and say, oh, well, we just did this to you. You don't know if that came from the Democrats or if that came from Donald Trump, and stuff like that, and we just did that to you, or the law, or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you know, that's pretty. And there was a blog on there that was talking about a high-tech lynching and stuff, and showed something to that effect about how reverse racism happens now, and like everybody's happy and stuff. So given I got a bird, yeah, I got a small little a pet and stuff like that, and a dog, a pet, a bird, you know, and you know, there'll be always antagonists to protect myself to say, oh, you know what, you know, the diplomat, Berber, Oliver, you know, whatever his name may be, and how I choose to deal with it, and the depression that goes on here, and stuff like that. And so treason is what it is. And so it's a stab in the back. So people front like, oh, well, you know what, I'm just going to get on the Instagram, I'm going to go ahead, or whatever it is, the social media, or whatever app it is, the terror app that you apply yourself to, and be like, oh, I'm going to time it like this, I'm going to schedule it like this, and such like that. And it's unacceptable. So that's why it's trending in California. I mean, the treatment of California, the way people are local people, is like, it's obscene. Like, it's disgusting, really. And you know, it's like, oh, well, you're not in my shoes. You say that you're privileged and stuff like that. At the same token, you say, oh, he's rich and phony and stuff like that. I never said I was rich and stuff like that, or wealthy, or rich and phony. So I mean, anything anybody says to you is a hypocrisy on that end, you know. And so it's like, it's a never-ending front to these some people. And like, oh, well, you have another bird. You have 3 birds. They're gonna make noise. No, they're not. They're gonna cancel each other out and stuff like that. And you know, and even at that, I have a 30-day policy. And that's not that. I'm with animals, and I already got in touch with the animal. And Guile and Billard are always doing that with each other and stuff like that. So, you know, to sit there and relax and say, oh, you know what, you know, he's doing a little too much. Billard. He's doing a little too much, and maybe Berber here is like, oh, well, we're mad you didn't name him Diplomat and stuff like that. I'm like, well, you know what, I didn't name Billard Calico either, so, I mean, you know, I didn't do a lot of things, you know. I also call Guile, you know, I forgot whatever, you know, Billard Winstons and Guile. So, you know, and so, And he'll sit up there and be like, oh, I'm going to get lepto and all behind it and stuff like that. When Conan O'Brien blogs and says, oh, yeah, how did you know lepto and Alzheimer's and Lyme disease are connected and stuff, and you get it from fecal matter and all this other stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I mean, it's dumb. It's total reverse racism, ethnocentric, just all around, what do you call it? Just all around harassment is what it is. And it's like, to be some type of template to be like, oh, you know what? This is the model we're gonna go behind of how things need to be. Well, some 30 years down the road and stuff like that, I don't know, or a year and stuff like that, or whatever, however long I'm gonna be here. That all would be, I'll be, I'll basically have no regrets with myself, basically. Yeah. Well, other people are saying, oh, well, you know what? We're your age and we're taking our youth on you and stuff like that and stuff because, we despise single people and stuff like that. And there's always a reason to say you're not single, you're imperfection is single, and it's perfect being single. And so, I'm just a ghetto person driving a BMW, or I'm just a ghetto person driving a Subaru, or I'm just a ghetto person driving a Lexus. I'm like, yeah, that's true too. So, whatever that to me. So, on all fronts, you take 5 lashes and since you get logged back and man, I can't believe that happened. And the lynching and who's to blame behind that or right, left? I don't know. There's no answers. I'm not even acknowledged for it. Other than a faceless voice saying, not faceless voice, but a voice saying, oh, well, there's a spy technique involved and stuff, and you will never know. And I'm like, I don't really know. There's no due process anyway, so what difference does it make? And so, what difference does it make, And really, they're really just trying to single this out because they turn the thing another way and they ask us the same questions. They're really disorganized, and it's really just a ghetto, organization because that's how it's ran, it's so many different standards with different people, so, there's no standard here, so, with that, I said, and then everybody starts getting their place and be like, well, Legion of Honor and all this stuff, and be like, we're singled out basically, and we're allowed to grow weed. If I wanted to, I can grow up to 6 plants. I can go outdoors right here. Outdoors. I can go. If I wanted to prove a point, I can actually just do that. But I'm doing a solid to people I grew up with and stuff like that. You don't want to get if there's some tit for tat or something like that, and you're having problems with burglarizations and stuff like that. Oh, whatever, whatever you're talking about. It's something that the United States validates anyway. And look, I don't need to be sitting up here talking all this stuff and going through problems and stuff and some unknown that you will never ever put faith in, have a faith for, because it's just it really just comes out, it pans out usually as nails, damn, all that, and it's to blown, and so that's the credit that goes on like that. And to be honest, quite honestly, and it's slap in the face, but it's slap in the face because these things. You send people on Mother's Day to the general hospital. You said the general hospital tells you you're crazy and say get yourself to the homeless shelter by way of Muni. Bill, go. And so, no, I'm not unappreciative. But if I'm singled out and I say, oh, you know what, I don't say, and there's some. Say what you want. It's a legitimate law, but why is it that why was the harassment on the way there? What's the quid pro quo on the way there, and the total hoax and the total timing on the way there? What is that? Using what? I made over $250,000. No one will hire me. I played at AutoZone. I played it everywhere. I'm getting a guard card renewed. I have no infractions. I go do community service. I mean, I'm not even born in this state. And I'm looked at as an outsider because I was raised here since I was like 2, but I'm like double standard out. Like, you're not with us, but you're here, and all that stuff. And so the whole total negativity of it, of what it is. Okay, so perfect. I don't think so. Now, okay, I can take that. I don't take things for granted, right? You know what? I don't take things for granted, like being on sleep. But if I'm doing a budget, right, or I'm something such, it's almost an equal trade. There's no tribute involved because it's almost an equal trade, right? Because, and I'm not trying to be Sam I am, but I'm saying it's almost equal trade. With that you say that, I'm like, I don't know if it's still even. I don't even know if that's still an even equivalent of like compensation. To be honest with you, 4 years and stuff like that, people do that all the time, and it just so happens that. I don't know. Oh, and then you just say be grateful and stuff like that. Oh, well, I don't know if you live around a person. I don't know if you're biased or you're impartial, or you're partial to a person that doesn't have the same chemistry as you do, and same living situation, living quarters, and predisposition as you do. So, given that, I don't know if you want my shoes either, and given my statuses and my predisposition and what I am. Not statuses, but like LG-isms along. Do you live in a unit like this and me like this? Just someone that's a waking moment? You don't look like you have bags under your eyes and stuff like that. You look like you don't look like you're too stressed out. I'm not trying to compliment you either. I'm trying to massage you, but I'm just saying. No, you're right. Yeah, we're cool. Everything's great. Yeah, alright. Yeah, that too. So I'm going to pause right here. A little paused by because if you do the applicatory of what it is and say, oh yeah, applicatory 50% polls, but still by contrast, and I can say this, like, oh, Walter, you're talking about this on a frame of mind that says, like, you have a feng shui that's like, with good serotonin. I'm like, yeah, I just got a bird, canceled out, I feel like laying on the carpet. Is that a problem? Is that like something that I figured out by myself? Is that something that came into fruition that I on my own? Yes, it is. Is it immaculate? It's the thought. I don't know. I didn't say all that, but I'm just saying. So, if I don't feel like being on a cardboard, I don't feel like divulging so much information for no dumb reason. My bird, it looks nice, and you're like, and I gotta get a drink, and that's it. We'll all do.